Doggy's enjoying the grass right now. Oh, she cracks me up. Okay, so all you need today for this thing that I'm going to be teaching you is either a towel, a yoga mat, a rug, anything like that. My one dog is trying to play with the other one and she's not having it. She knows that she's not supposed to run around out here and play without being, you know, told that she could. So anyways, so you need something like that because the command I'm going to be teaching you is place. And I want you to be able to send your dog somewhere in your house that they can then stay while maybe you have guests coming in, or you have, let's say, the pizza guy come to your door and you don't want your dog, you know, going at them. And sometimes dogs jump if you have not trained them not to, or some dogs can involuntarily urinate, which isn't their fault, it's just they get so excited. So this is a great way to take that excitement down, have them be laying down and kind of chilled out. So I'm going to kind of teach you the beginnings of how to get that going, and then I'll teach you kind of a few next steps that you can go to if your dog maybe already knows this a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. So you'll need, again, you'll just need a towel, a yoga mat, a rug, anything you can put down that dog knows, like that's where I go when my owner tells me to place, or, you know, lay down or go to your bed, anything like that. Okay, also you don't want to use their bed for this unless you are putting the towel over their bed and picking it up, because this is something that you don't want them to go on when you're not training at first, because they need to know, like, when I touch this, I'm going to get rewarded. So you do not want to use their normal bed in the beginning. All right, let's get started. Okay, you're not going to be able to see my whole body because I want you to be able to see the mat that's on the ground right here. And at first, all I'm going to do is have him go and touch that mat. He knows this command. We have never done it outside though, so this will be somewhat new to him. Changing locations changes it up for the dog. So sorry for the wind. I hope it's not totally destroying the sound. But what you want to do at the beginning is take your treat and throw it on the mat, and then yes. So we taught the word yes last week, in case you missed that. A real quick recap. To charge the word yes so that they know this is the word that they're going to say when I know I did something correct, is by just going yes, yes, yes. So giving them a treat along with saying yes, and you can do that for a good 30 seconds for a couple days. They'll learn real quickly that when you say yes, it means I did something right and I'm going to be rewarded for it. So this is the first step. So just kind of throw the treat off. Go get it, Lincoln. So that they get off of the mat. Once again, put it on there. Yes. So now he is learning that when I touch the mat with my paws, I'm getting rewarded for it. And that's what she wants. So you want to do this until they have it down really solid. Until Lincoln, off. Good boy. You never want them to, let's say, I don't put a treat down there. Yes, but he touched it anyways. I didn't tell him to go to it, but he went on it. Anytime that their feet touches the mat, you want to treat them, because this really gets them wanting to go to their mat and excited to go to their mat. So you never want to leave this down when you're not training, because you don't want them walking on it, laying on it, doing things on it when they're not getting rewarded. Now later on, when I have it down really, really solid, you can, but in the beginning you don't want to do that. So the next step, come here, Lincoln. Yes, good boy. Is to then tell them to go. So you're going to use, dogs will follow your hand. They will follow your signals. Maya, in the house, Maya. Go. Thank you. So I'm just going to point to it and say place. Now again, he knows this, but yes, good boy. So if they don't do it, just hold the command there. Just be pointing down until they go to it. If it takes them a little while, make sure you reward heavily so that they know they did something that was really, really good. Okay, off. Lincoln, come here. Stay. So, Lincoln, place. Good boy. Okay. I'm gonna pause it for a second because I want to watch it and make sure that this wind isn't totally destroying the sound. So just one sec. Okay, so it's not completely destroying the sound. It is kind of annoying, but we'll just have to deal with it today. Okay, so now I'm going to show you after they get good at doing that when you point and say place, once they have that down really, really solid, then eventually you can take out the pointing and you can just say, Lincoln, place. No, hey. That's not where I said place. Place. Good boy. Yes, down. Yes. So, like I said, we haven't done this outside before, so he didn't go to it. He thought that I just wanted him to lay down, which is not what I wanted. I waited, I then pointed. As soon as I pointed, he went to it, then I rewarded. When they are first starting to touch it and stuff, it's fine, they don't need to sit, but eventually you do want them laying down because this should be something you can do to send them to their place, to lay down, to relax. It's their safe spot. It's also their spot that they need to stay in until you release them. So you want to have a release word, something that's not just like okay or a really common word. We use the word free. So he knows when I say free, he may get up from his place and go and do whatever he wants. Now, if I don't say free, he better keep his butt there until I have told him he may get up. Now, I am really close to it right now, but eventually you can get it to, in my house, when it's down, it doesn't matter where I am in my house or where he is in the house. If I tell him to go to his place, which is his crate in the house, he will do it, no matter where he is. He knows it that solid. But that takes time and repetition. So don't get discouraged if they're not, getting it right away, or if they're not sticking it right away. You want to make it so that at first you reward for them staying down for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds to just build that up. So Lincoln, place. Place. Yes, good boy. So now that he's there, this is where you want to kind of build up to. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start kind of throwing treats where he can't reach them from where he's at to see, can we get him to stick it? So we did it. Place. So we're gonna put him back on the place, down. So that means outside with this particular mat, he is not ready for that yet. He needs more practice with just going and laying down and staying there without distractions. Now, in the house where he has done it time and time again, I could probably put a stake 3 feet in front of him and he's not going to move out of his crate because he knows that's where he's supposed to be. Now the door's opened, obviously, so he has free will to go in and out, but he's obeying, he will stay in. Outside, when you change locations, it's amazing. If you change something just a little bit for a dog, it's a whole new command. So this is like learning a whole new thing. He might know the word place and he might know the word free, but it is still a new thing that he is learning. Lincoln, free. Yes, good boy. Okay, so I'm gonna take him inside and get Maya, and we'll do it with her real fast, and we'll see how quick she can pick up on really sticking it. Okay, so now I have Maya out here. Maya, place. Place. Now she is like, what? Because again, I haven't done it outside with her, and I haven't used this mat before. I mean, it's been probably a year since I've used this particular mat. So I'm just gonna remind her, Maya, place. Place. Good, down. Maya, place. Come on. Good girl, yes. Yes, good girl. Okay, free. Yes, good girl. Okay, now that she knows it, Maya, please. Place. Yes, good girl. Free. Maya, free. Okay. Oh, bless. Free. Yes, good girl. Lincoln, stay. Okay. Okay, Maya, place. Yeah, I think she's not liking that it's moving around. Yes, very good. And Maya loves the grass. She loves to lay in it. She loves to roll in it. So making her go and lay on this when she could lay on all this grass is kind of like torture to her. Free. Good girl. So she should be able to stick this. So we're gonna see. Place. Yes. Good girl. So now I'm gonna do what I did with him, and we'll see how she can take it. Yes, good girl. So she got up to get it, but as soon as I went, told her not to with that sound that I made, she instantly laid back down, which was the correct thing to do. Good girl. Good. Free. Okay, take it. Free. Now I'm gonna let her have it, because I never said she couldn't have it. I just said she wasn't supposed to get up. So now that I'm letting her get up, now she can have it. So I'm gonna go a little farther with her and see if I can get her to go to it. Maya, with me. Come. Yes. Oh, good girl. Yes. Okay, Maya, place. Place. Yes. Very good. Good. So she is able to do it a little farther away. She understands now. This mat is where I'm being told to go. This is where I am supposed to stay. The next step would be introducing somebody that she really likes. Let's say the neighbor comes out who she absolutely loves. I would need to practice with her more before I introduced that step, because right now I think with it being outside and kind of new, she instantly probably get up and run to them, unless I told her to stop, which she would. But it's not as organic as if she's just staying there. Now, in my home, in the dogs both in their place, I can get them to pretty much stick it no matter what happens in the home. But it takes practice and time to get there. So this is a great step if your dogs are running at the door when somebody, the pizza guy, the mailman, anybody gets there, or when you have friends come in. If your dogs go up and jump on them, or if your dogs pee on them because they're so excited, or they get so overtly excited that they just can't listen to anything, this is a great thing to do to practice a lot beforehand. Before your guests get there, put them in their place. Or before you let them in, put them in their place. Another really good thing before you have friends over, if your dog are having these problems where they're getting overexcited, especially if they are urinating, one thing that's good, right before you have people come over, take the dog potty and give them exercise, because an exercised dog is going to listen better. They're just going to be so much better behaved. If you have a dog that you are not exercising ever, that dog is has all this pent-up energy and it doesn't know what to do with it. So before you have guests over, exercise and take it potty. These will really, really help with both of those things. So that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions about any of this, please leave them in the comments below and I will answer them as best as I can. If I can't answer it, I will find out the information from somebody and let you know. So now I'm gonna let my dogs go inside. It is pretty warm out here today, and we are gonna take it to my drafting table. Okay, so a couple tips I have for you today that help me out. I bought these really nice big trays. They are even bigger than the white one that everybody loves. If you look, they're almost the same size, but they are just a little bit bigger. Now, they don't have the funnel, but they do have the slide thing that comes, this orange part that comes out so that you can pour your stuff back in. And I don't have a problem pouring into these little guys, so you shouldn't either. But I'm right now working on the Princess and the Frog, and there's a few colors that I'm using pretty frequently, and so I have 8 of these big ones, and then I have 3 of these blue ones. So I have picked 11 colors that I want to have accessible to just grab, ones I don't have to put in and out, that I'm using frequently, and more than just a couple here and there. So that makes it go a lot quicker because you're not having to constantly pour them, use them, constantly pour them back. You can just grab them as you're ready. However, make sure you either label where you're putting it, or what I do is I just put this thing, my little storage container, right in the tray itself so I don't forget what color it is. This helps me out a lot. It makes things go a lot smoother and a lot faster. Secondly, here in my storage container right here, you can see that I do not have the DMC numbers on my storage containers. I used to when I first started. I used to write the DMC code, and then I would keep referencing the label that, you know, is on the side of your painting or the piece of paper that they send you for the key. But I started actually putting just the label, or on the label, I just started putting the symbol. That way, I didn't have to keep referencing the key all the time. It made things go quicker and smoother for me. Then when I go to file these into, when I'm done with my project, then I can access that, that key and just do them all at one time, and it makes it go a lot smoother for me. That might not be the case for you, but for me, it works, you know, really, really well. So, and the third thing, I know I said it last week, but I'm just going to say it again. Get yourself a light pad because it will change your whole experience. Now, there are some paintings like the one I'm working on right now, and I can show you. I'm going to get real close. I'm not going to be able to see what my camera's doing, but hopefully it is nice and focused for you. But you can see in the key, I really don't need a light pad for this one because the drill field is just so incredibly clear. But with the light pad, you can see it even better. Now, I have done ones that I can barely see with the light pad. So imagine trying to do it without the light pad. And so that is a really, really good thing to have. Secondly, and I know I said it last week as well, but get yourself a good, as I throw it on the ground, get yourself a good pen, because this makes it so much easier than using this. It just doesn't do it, especially if you have carpal tunnel, if you have any kind of finger or hand or arm problems. Getting yourself a nice, comfortable pen that's, you know, a little thicker to hold on to will really make it that much easier to do. Now, the third thing, this is really important. I can't necessarily give you an example with my project right now because it is a Diamond Art Club project, and it does have the clear coating, the clear cover, which that is the only thing I don't like. I don't like working with these because it feels chaotic. They're loud, but Diamond Art Clubs are much easier than most. But what I do usually, I just didn't with this project. I decided I would just kind of test it out. But with most of my projects, I literally just take this piece off and I throw it away. And then I put down either old papers from a different project that I have saved, because I save them in pretty big chunks, or you can use parchment paper because that will lay down over it. I use Reynolds parchment paper pre-cut squares, and also you can use contact paper, just rip off that sticky part, use the back of it and put it down. This way it's kind of covered up. It just seems less chaotic. My brain can focus more on just, you know, a 2x3 or 3x4 section without seeing the whole piece. it's just a lot easier for me to do that. I don't, and then, yeah, it just, because otherwise what I do is right now with this piece, I'm doing it a little different. I'm still doing sections, but I'm doing sections of the drawing. So like right now, I am working right here, and I outlined in black because Mandy Manzano uses a lot of black to outline it. So I outlined the black for the section that I wanted to work in, then I'm filling that in, and then I'll probably go here next and fill in this section, and so on and so on. So that is what I am kind of experimenting this time, but usually I go in squares, and if I don't go in the squares, then what I do, as I've done a little bit on this project, is I tend to be like, oh, well, here's a T, there's just a couple. And as you can see, I have gone outside of my little spot that I'm working on, like right here, because I see them there, and so I just do it. That gets it to where I'm just kind of all over the place, so I really have to focus a lot more. So it is nice to have those pieces that you can just take off, do that piece, take off another one, and do that piece. That really, really helps me out, so it might help you out. Those are the only tips I have for you today. I hope you guys have a great day today. I hope you have beautiful weather, but even if it is cloudy outside, don't forget to keep on shining. Bye, guys. Okay, a little preview for next week. If this is something that you desire your dog to do, then make sure you watch next week. Come. Good girl. Oh, this way. Yes. Oh, stop. Good girl. Yes. So, if you want your dog to walk with you with a loose leash where they're not yanking you down and not making your walk just completely miserable, and making it, sometimes people who have this problem actually just don't take their dogs out because it's too hard. It's hard on them, it's hard on the dog, it's not enjoyable. So if you want a few tricks to get your dog to be able to walk on a leash that is loose, that they are not pulling you around, I have some equipment that you can use, which will not be any shot collars or prong collars or anything like that. It is all positive based. So I have some equipment and some tricks and tips, so stay tuned for next week.